Buenas noches, damas y caballeros, y bienvenidos a la clase de español en casa. Esta noche vamos a estudiar dos verbos irregulares en el pretérito ir y ser. Real quick though, at first, let's take a look at our endings for regular verbs. AR verbs, of course, and ER and IR verbs are haste o almorzaron, iste yo y mocieron. Can't forget the, oh yeah, by the way, cargars are verbs for AR verbs. Have a spelling change in the yo form. And of course, for ER and IR verbs, we have to remember that ver is regular, just does not need any accent marks. Okay, so now you have a year and a half of Spanish under your belt, and you might be thinking to yourself, I see some patterns and understand quite a bit of what's going on, but every once in a while I see things that I just can't wrap my brain around. I don't quite get it. Unfortunately, ir and ser are going to be very similar to that situation. You can't put any logic to it. It just exists. So I've tried to come up with a story about what must have been going through the heads of the people that created this particular language. And so I'm thinking about a bunch of old men sitting around a table drinking massive quantities of wine, and it just got later and later at night, and they were just thinking of all these verbs, and they waited till the very end to come up with the verb ir, because it was just an irregular verb. It's just an ending. There's no base to it. And they started arguing, and they started just couldn't come to a conclusion on what to do and how to do it. And they just kept getting deeper and deeper into this fight, and nobody was coming up with a solution. And all the while, the old wise sage sitting back in the corner quietly just watching the whole thing, just staying to himself. And then he comes to a point where he just can't contain himself anymore, and he just slams his hands on the table and screams, "F you!" Sorry, I realize I just misread the script there. He actually said, "Foo would be the perfect base for the verb ir." Yeah, I'm actually not making that up. That is the base of the verb ir. Foo. Go figure. Anyway, here's the verb ir. We're going to put our base, foo, 5 different times, and then we put our endings down. Now, you're going to recognize 3 of the 5 endings as IR verb endings, but let's see if we can catch the irregulars. So the yo form, regular IR verb ending, fui. Tu form is fuiste, el form is fue, nosotros is fuimos, and ellos es ustedes is fueron. Now if you notice the yo, the tu, and nosotros, those are all IR verb endings. We're fine. Ellos, it's the IR verb ending without the I. El form, well, it just exists. And notice there are no accent marks. So the old wise sage came up with the verb, and there was much rejoicing. But then the people calmed down and realized, well, wait, what about ser? What do we do about that? And they all looked to the old man, who sat pensive for a moment. Then he thought to himself and said, you know what? We're just so tired right now. Let's make ir and ser the same. And there was much rejoicing. So there you have it. Ir and ser are essentially the exact same verb. Ir is fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, and fueron. That means I went, you went, he went, we went, and they went. And we can keep the whole verb conjugated there, and all we have to do is take that verb ir, change it to the verb ser, and we have the exact same thing. Fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, and fueron. But now it means I was, you were, he was, we were, and they were. Okay, you might be thinking to yourself, this could be confusing. Ir and ser are the same. What if I see ayer fui a la playa? How do I know if that's ir or ser? If it's ir, that would mean yesterday I went to the beach. But if ser means to be, couldn't that mean also yesterday I was at the beach? You got to think about it a little bit. What do you know about ser and estar? I was at the beach is location, which has to be estar. So ayer fui a la playa could only mean yesterday I went to the beach. It's all about context. So here's what you need to write down. Ir, fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fueron. Ser, fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, and fueron. That's what you need to know. If you think it sounds confusing, just remember this. We're humans. We've been doing really strange things our entire existence. Some things we just can't explain. I just hope that by watching this, you understand what happens with ir and ser. It's simple memorization, and then you can simply be on your way. So hasta viernes, bring your notes to class el viernes, and guess what's going to happen? Yep, vamos a tener una prueba. Buena suerte, mis amigos, y muy buenas noches.